Good morning. Last Thursday, I was flying back home from Anaheim for the $1 Million Roundtable, and I was planning on leaving on Friday, but I wanted to get home a little earlier, so I changed my schedule, and I left on Thursday. So when I changed my schedule, all my assigned seats got dropped. I didn't really pay attention to that when I checked in. I just thought everything was fine. So I had priority check-in, so I get my priority check-in, and I'm going, thinking I'm going to be sitting in some really nice seats, and I look down at my phone, and guess what? I looked at my boarding pass, and it's got me in seat row 33A, which is the very back row on the window. Well, first of all, I do not like sitting at the window because I'm a big guy. I need space. I like the aisle. And I was like, oh my goodness. So I go on. I was one of the first people on the plane. I'm walking back there, and they let young families on first with children, young children. So I go to the very back row, and sure enough, there's a little girl's like 7 or 8 years old sitting in the middle seat. I'm going to have to crawl over her. Her dad and brother are sitting in the aisle on the other side, and her mom and the little baby that's can't be a year old is sitting in front of us. And I'm sitting there, and the baby's sort of crying a little bit, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is going to be the worst flight in my life. And the flight was packed. There was no place to move. Everybody was coming on. They said no seats available. It took forever for everyone to get on, and finally the lady she sat at the aisle there, and we're sitting there on tarmac, backing up, and I'm just starting to feel this claustrophobic feeling. My vagus nerve is getting triggered, shallow breathing. I'm thinking, this is going to be horrible. And I decided, you know what, John, you know how to deal with this. You know how to hack this. You can hack this. So I looked out the window, and there's a little song that's going around on social media that is like an abundant song, a positive song. And I know tapping is something that's really helpful to slow down the vagus nerve. So I look out the window and I sing this song. Every little cell inside my body, every little cell is happy and well. Every little cell inside my body, every little cell is happy and well. I'm so glad every little cell in my body is happy and well. I'm so glad every little cell in my body is happy and well. And I did that like 4 times. And I started feeling better. And I stopped the vagus nerve, and I de-escalated everything. And I started breathing, and I started feeling better. And then before you take off, your ears pop, and I get some gum out, and I tap on the mom's shoulder. Can I offer this little girl some gum? She goes, yes, I offer some gum. She takes it, chewing the gum. I decide I'm going to engage. I'm going to care about the people on this flight. Not about me. This isn't about me being inconvenienced. This is about me being focused on others over myself. And that's what I did. And the lady, I started talking to her, and I told her the story. Oh, I should be way up there, but I'm here. And told her how we had changed flights and all the reasons. And we had a nice conversation. I told her I was at this conference. I asked her what she did. She started telling me about her life. And she started talking about the stresses of her job. And she goes, you say you're a coach. What, you have any things? I told her about my mindset Mondays and things like that. And she goes, you got any advice? And I said, well, I don't know if you noticed, I was tapping. She goes, I did notice that. What were you doing? And I explained what that was. And I explained, what I did there. And she thought that was fascinating. And she thought that was so cool. And she goes, I'm just learning about these things. I said, they're very effective. They work. And we just had this great conversation about our families, and it was we talked about God. It was just our faith. It was an incredible conversation. The little girl was so sweet. She was so charming, and she talked, and she was a sweetheart. The baby didn't cry the entire flight after that. It was just, she looked back and smiled at us, and I was playing peekaboo with her, just having a wonderful time. 3 hours went by so fast. Landed in Dallas, we're walking away, and the lady that we were with, she said, I just want you to know, I don't think it was a mistake that God put you back there in that back row. Thank you. This really helped me. That's a lesson of life right there, isn't it? You can get caught up and focus on yourself and your inconveniences, and life is miserable. But I was able to regulate the vagus nerve, focus on others, and I had a wonderful trip. And to top it off, my next flight from Dallas to Lexington, They put me in first class. I had food, drink. It was a wonderful trip. Had a great conversation with the guy there. Listened to his life story. It was very cool listening to him, and we also shook hands and said, "Hey, really nice meeting you." And that's what it's all about, focusing on others, learning how to regulate your own mindset and getting yourself in a good mental space. And life is so much better. I hope this helps you have a great Monday. We'll talk to you next week.